Well, hello from a power outage, Evans, Georgia. For vignette number one, I wanted to take a look at some of the ideas that came out in Mr. Smith's scenario. When I first read the case, I wasn't sure what his age or experience might have to do with an administrator's idea about his supervision plan, whether it be a professional growth plan, assign an instructional assistant or specialist to go through and coach. And then as I started parsing through some of the terms, I highlighted a couple things that really stood out to me. The first one being that in his class, he actually identified that he needed to do something to help the students learn. Mr. Smith feels there is not enough student-teacher interaction. After his initial lecture, he would like students to discuss the concepts which were presented. And I think that he understands that there's a lack of communication of ideas or explaining on the student's part. He falls into a very predictable and easy trap in silence. Are there any questions? That's almost the same as suggesting to somebody, raise your hand if you don't understand what I just said. When the kids will just look around and see who's going to be the person who's brave enough to go, yeah, I didn't get it, and I'm probably the only one. And even in professional development, I know I'm guilty of not really always raising my hand saying, I'm going to need you to explain that one more time. So I think as Mr. Smith gets a chance to get some feedback from either an instructional specialist or a coach, specifically on the kinds of questions that he's asking, to whom he's asking his questions. And I think one of the most powerful things for him might be having somebody just track where he's at in the building or in the room every minute or so, and see that he is sitting in the front, and all the kids know he's going to be in the front, and they don't have to worry about him coming around and moving because he just stands and he delivers. I think having him look at that information would, even though he's probably aware of it, it would be very, very powerful for him to see that. And then to come back in a week or in 3 or 4 classes and do exactly the same thing, but only focus on that, or just focus on his questioning strategies, and try not to make a gigantic pedagogical change, but focus on something that would be manageable. And repeat that same kind of data collection 3 or 4 times. And then as he progresses and feels himself moving around or asking different kinds of questions, or even just calling on different students, I think the fact that he's willing to try things based on his understanding that something needs to happen in order for him to feel like the kids are getting everything they can out of the lesson would probably be the first recommendation step that I would take with Mr. Smith. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the rain that we're going to send your way here in a couple days. And when the power flickers back on, I'll sit in the light.